if what they are saying is actually based on their own fears, based on their own experiences, based on their own exposure, based on their own beliefs, that might not be aligning with yours. Because if it's not aligning, then why the hell are you listening to them? Hello guys, welcome back to Best Quote. So in this episode, we're talking about a quote by John Lennon. He said, "You don't need anybody to tell you who you are or what you are. You are what you are." So I think this is in the direction of letting you know that a lot of times we get distracted by listening to what people have to say about us, what people think about us, the way people describe us. And in that process, we lose touch with who we really are or what we really represent. Because if you keep allowing people to tell you who you are, eventually they are going to instill in you what they think about you, what they believe about you, and what they maybe know or not know about you. Because sometimes people project their fears on people project their belief on people. And if you don't have a strong base of your own, then it will be easy for other people to infiltrate, to penetrate, and to press in their own thoughts on you. And that is why this quote is saying that you're actually who you are, you're actually what you are. You don't need people to tell you that. Now, because I know in this time and age, motivational speakers, priests, pastors, and different kind of religion and every kind of thing that we have around now, telling people what they are, who they are, how they should act, and the way they should behave. Of course, even podcasts like this, I'm not going to exaggerate or take myself out of it. So a lot of times you tell people what they should do, what they shouldn't do, and how they should do it, and when they should do it. Yes, sometimes it is good. Sometimes it is very, very necessary to actually tell people what they should do, the way they should act, so that you can help them learn in case they don't know. But a lot of times it also gets overdone, and that is the places where it needs to be checked. Because a lot of people that eventually turn out to become, for example, religious fanatics. We know how dangerous that can be when people become religious fanatics. A lot of the wars, a lot of the fightings, the rioting that we have is due to fanatics. So people who don't control what they believe, people who don't actually have their own minds anymore, but are being controlled by others because of the way they've been things and beliefs have been instilled in them, it becomes very easy to incite those people to go to war, to incite those people to fight, to incite those people to cause violence. That is where issue comes from. So in as much as you have to follow your leaders, in as much as you have to follow your guidance, in as much as you have to follow those who are in positions of authority, it is also important that you on your own make your own research. That is the common disclaimers that we have these days. Make your own research, learn about things. Even though you learn from others, also learn your own independently, because sometimes lessons, things, ideas get meddled with people's emotions. So people actually know what to tell you. For example, some leaders, in terms of maybe the religious leaders, they know what to tell you. They know what they've studied or what they've learned from the book and what they are supposed to tell you. But somewhere along the way, a lot of times, their emotions also get into the way. Their own personal beliefs get into the way. Their own upbringing gets into the way. Their own insecurities get into the way. And they now mix up everything and share it out. Now, if you don't have access to the same book, for example, for Christianity, if you don't have access to the same Bible, then you can have an excuse to say, you don't have access to it, so you don't know what is written there. But if you have access to it, I implore you, go read it yourself as well. In as much as you go to church, in as much as you listen to your pastors or imam or whoever person you are listening to based on your religion or your whatever kind of belief that you have, it's also important that you also go and do your own research so as to know if what they are telling you is actually right. I'm not saying that they are not right. I'm not saying that they don't know what they're saying, but I'm saying that we are human beings, and human beings a lot of times we mix things up. And that is why you have different factions of Christianity today. You have different factions of Muslim today. We have those that profess this type and those that say it's this way. Christian, in fact, is most prevalence in Christianity. Those that believe things this way, those that believe things that way. And at the end of the day, they are all using the same Bible. Now, you wonder how that is possible. It's possible because people attach their own emotions to what they read. People attach their own personal belief, their own culture to what they read. So if we all read it the same way and interpret it the same way, then we are supposed to have one Christianity in the world. But no, Mr. A reads it, has his own cultural belief to it, forms his own section. Mr. B reads it, has his own personal fears to it, forms his own section. Mr. C reads it, has his own personal conviction to it, forms his own section. So eventually you have different sections of the same thing. So that is why it's important that you don't actually just let people tell you who you are or what you are. You are actually what you are. So you have to find out yourself. You have to read yourself. You have to study yourself. You have to get yourself exposed enough to be able to understand yourself, understand what life is about, and of course, learn from others, but filter it. Now, how do you filter? You filter by actually having your own knowledge, because if you don't have your own exposure, if you don't have your own knowledge, by what standard will you filter? There is no standard. That is why you actually need to study your own. That is why study, being literate, trying to understand what is happening in the world on your own is very important. When you understand that people come with you with a better one, yes, fine, you can accept that. But that is after you filtered it through what you've also learned. Because if you don't learn, whatever thing someone gives you becomes the truth. Whatever thing someone gives you becomes the Bible to you. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. You only take it you will not take it as face value. You take it as a whole complete value, because that's the only thing you know. But when you have a filtering system, in other words, you have your own knowledge, you have your own ideas, you also learn your own, then you can filter it by your own standard and then know what to take and what not to take. A lot of times people have good intentions, of course. The leaders you follow, they have good intentions, but good intentions, when mixed up with other emotions, might come out as bad. But they themselves might not see anything bad in it, because that is their own belief. They might not see anything wrong in that, because that is their own conviction. But in the general look of things, it is actually faulted. And that is why we have, like I said before, different factors that we have today. So do not let people to just brazenly throw at you what you are, or who you are supposed to be. Yes, learn from them, hear them out, but filter it with your own filter, and know if what they are saying is actually right for you or not. Know if what they are saying is actually based on their own fears, based on their own experiences, based on their own exposure, based on their own beliefs, that might not be aligning with yours. Because if it's not aligning, then why the hell are you listening to them? And that's why sometimes it gets to me when you go online and see people leaving crazy, bad, and insulting comment on people's posts, maybe people's videos and all. I'll be wondering, if you don't really like this person, why are you wasting time following them? You see, people don't like a particular comedian, for example, they are still following that comedian and they are posting insulting posts on their own post again, or insulting replies or comments on their posts. You'll be wondering, why don't you just unfollow this guy? Go to Instagram. It happens all the time. People post something and you see people that hate them, going to the comment section, abusing them, talking bad about them, talking down on them. Why don't you just unfollow? If it's not good for you, it's not good for your mental health, why stick to it? Don't let them manipulate you. Because at the end of the day, we know how these things go. When, even though you don't like something, like a study that was made one time, where certain people were told a particular lie, they know it was a lie, but the lie was told repeatedly to the point whereby they start believing the lie that it was true. Now, this is a study out there. I can't remember the name of the study, but it's a study out there. So, in as much as you keep exposing yourself to something that is not good for you, eventually your brain starts thinking, oh, maybe this is actually good. That is why I'm being exposed to it repeatedly. And your brain starts conditioning itself to go with it. So that is how you can get programmed. That is how eventually you can start becoming what you are not supposed to be, or who you are not supposed to be, because you've been exposing yourself to that same process that you don't actually deserve. So what you don't like, remove yourself from that situation, and what you like, of course, expose yourself to that situation. That is how you get to actually be who you are and what you are, and not allow others to manipulate you or to move you around to become who you are, or who they think you should be, or what they think you should be, which is not actually healthy for you. That's what I got on this, guys. Let me know what you think about in the comment section, and thank you for listening, and see you in the next one.